Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Welcome back to BGP. You would have thought that Kyrie Irving posted a threat to our national security. We're going to talk about Mr. Kyrie Irving today. But before we do, we're going to give a special shout out to him because a young lady by the name of Shanquilla Robinson lost her life, and he donated $65,000 to her GoFundMe. So kudos to Mr. Irving. For those of you who do not follow basketball, to those of you who may not be on social media or have a TV, we're going to tell you about Mr. Kyrie Irving. He is 30 years old. He has dual citizenship in America and Australia. Mm-hmm. He considers himself to be African American and Lakota Indian. He is a father, a husband, an activist. He is now I'm about to mess up. He's a forward?
Yeah.
He is a forward.
Power forward.
Power forward. Yeah. For the Brooklyn Nets, who is currently suspended.
No, he came back today.
Yeah. Well, update.
Yeah.
He came back today.
As of today.
But he was suspended. He is an activist. He had his own clothing line. He is a plant-based eater. Mm-hmm. He had a shoe line on Nike. He's just an all-around articulate, responsible, unapologetic black man. And I stand with him and I love him. He got into some trouble, and so I wanted to talk about the trouble that this young man found himself in. Let's start with you, Nisha.
Okay.
Why is everybody mad with Mr. Irving?
Because all he did was make a post by taking a snapshot of a link that you can go watch a documentary called From Hebrews to Negroes on Amazon. And he posted it.
And all hell broke loose.
Yep.
And so then they wanted him to do what?
Initially, they wanted him to denounce the documentary. Then they wanted him to issue a public apology. And he was like, nah, why would I do that? I mean, I don't have anything to do with that. Can we speak on the atrocities and, things that happened to my people, my ancestors? And they kept saying, no, we want you to apologize for, this documentary. You posted this documentary. You made this documentary. No, I didn't make the documentary. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that I posted it because I think black people should watch it because it gives you a glimpse into who you are. And, well, you're being anti-Semitic. No, I'm not being anti-Semitic. I can't be anti-Semitic because I know who I am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those were his words. And after saying all of that and going back and forth with multiple reporters, shit hit the fan. Back to you, Mona.
So let's talk about the word anti-Semitic. Yes, let's go to the dictionary and look up the word Semitic. Yes. Semitic, relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic. What in the hell is this word?
Aramaic,
mm-hmm. And certain ancient languages constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. Mm-hmm. So who actually is anti-Semitic? Is it us or is it them? Mm-hmm. However, like Nisha said, He just posted a link. But before he posted that link, he posted something saying that he was in support of the Black Hebrew Israelites in March. But before that, he refused to take the COVID-19 shot.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he lost $100 million, but he didn't give a damn. He didn't want to take that shot. He didn't feel that had nothing to do with him playing basketball. And he also donated $1.5 million to the WNBA for the ladies that did not want to take that shot as well. So we see that Kyrie is an activist. He stands on his ground. Mm-hmm. He stands 10 toes down in what he believes in. His job is an athlete to play basketball. He does that, and he says, you will not tell me what to say. So they suspended him. He apologized in the manner that he felt that he should. Mm-hmm. And then they came back and said that wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. They wanted him to apologize in the manner that they wanted him to. They wanted him to do the things that they wanted him to do. They wanted to baby boy him. So they came back with a list of conditions.
That's a do list.
Who's they?
The Jewish community or the ADL or whoever those people are. Mm-hmm. They came back with a list of demands on how they wanted him to apologize. They said they would suspend him for 5 games. He said he didn't give a damn. They said that he had to publicly recognize the film as anti-Semitic. He had to apologize for supporting the film and the falsehoods within. He had to have training on the dangers of hate speech. Mm-hmm. And he had to meet with the Brooklyn Jewish leaders and other leaders of the Jewish community. And he also had to donate $500,000 to anti-hate groups, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Then he lost his contract with Nike.
Yes.
He had a $11 million contract with Nike, and I believe that it had the highest sales in either 2017 or 2019. Right. Don't quote me. Second to LeBron James. Like Nisha said, he just posted a link. Mm-hmm. And they got mad because they said there were some untruths in that documentary. And like Kyrie said, what about all the untruths that you have spoken about for my people?
That part.
What about all the hate movies that you have put out about our people? What about all the hate history that our children and ourselves and our ancestors had to read and see and watch about our history? Why does only your history matter? Am I not a human being? I support Kyrie. We expect poor people to cower down. We expect them to be shaking in their boots and apologizing for things because the little that they have, they can lose that, and they can't afford to lose that. But we have a African American man that can afford to lose something, even when it's millions of dollars, when it comes to what he believes is right. We need more African American men to act in this manner. If I don't say anything tonight, because y'all know I lose my train of thought, I want you guys to remember something. Power is not given. Power is taken. And they do not want African American men to have financial power or verbal power. They don't want them to stand up for their community. They want them to just, and especially if they're athletes, just bounce the ball, nigga. Just bounce the ball. I think there's a lesson to be learned here. I don't think one thing has to do with another. He did not say, what it kind of did for me is that it made people go and find out why they are so angry about this movie. Was there something within this movie that may awaken black people. That may sound an alarm for black people. Why were they so against it? They didn't get mad at Jeff Bezos for housing the movie on Amazon and selling it. So what's really the problem? Jewish community?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just say this. Let me issue my correction first. He's a guard.
Okay, point guard.
Yeah, he's a guard.
Okay,
He's a guard.
point guard.
He's a guard.
Okay.
And as of today, he did issue an apology, not just to the Jewish community, but to everyone who may have been offended by his link. He still stands by not being anti-Semitic. He apologized to black people as well. And he just said, he was a little defensive in the beginning because he was caught off guard by being called anti-Semitic because he doesn't believe he is, which most black people don't believe we are, because how can we if we truly look up the word? I think that when this first happened, the first thing I did, and Mona could tell you because we talked about it and I posted it on social media, I'm like, they tripping. Now I'm about to.
Nope.
I was like, nope. When they came up with that list, I said, absolutely not. No. And then I was like, let me go watch this documentary. Let me see what the big deal is. So I went to Amazon and I downloaded the documentary and I watched it. It's a 3-hour documentary. Right. So you can either watch the documentary or you can get the books because there's a 3-book series as well. Wow. And so I watched it and I'm like, the majority of the documentary is spent on the man speaking about biblical areas in the book and where they are today and what those people look like and how majority of black people, black Americans, how we were scattered about in different parts of the world, including America. And it also gives and I'm just paraphrasing, it gives a tiny glimpse into who falls under the true tribes of Israel and what they look like, right? There is a portion, and I do mean a small, like you blink, you can miss it kind of portion, where he shares quotes from Hitler, Thomas Ford, a few other people, where they speak on their opinions, their thoughts about who the true Jewish people are and what they look like. And I believe when the Jewish community saw that, I believe that's what got them offended and upset. Because
go ahead.
because it paints a different picture of what it looks like. It paints a different picture of, you see a certain group that's kind of ruling the world and on top, right? And then everybody paints that other group, us, at the bottom. But when you look at history, we've been here from day one, everywhere.
At the top.
Everywhere. Until we was kind of separated.
Kidnapped.
And split and sent.
Held hostage.
Everywhere else, right? And in the documentary, he kind of speaks on the curses of what could have taken place as to why we are where we are today. So it wasn't a ding on the Jewish community. It wasn't a ding on we're better than them. It was more of, like it said, wake up, Black America. Like, wake up, Black people, because we've been asleep.
Yes.
We've been asleep. We've been asleep. Wake up. This is your history. This is who you are. Do something with it. And so for them to blow it out of proportion and make it seem like this whole documentary was about talking about the Jews defeated the purpose, because it was just like, no, it wasn't. If it was that bad, because mind you, this documentary has been around since 2018.
Yes, right.
If it was that bad, they would have shut it down
Mm-hmm.
back in 2018. It would not have been played in movie theaters, because it was. It would have
Shaq's
not.
movie theater.
Shaquille's
Yes.
movie theaters. It would have not been played anywhere if it was truly anti-Semitic, but it wasn't. So
here's my question. Do you actually think that the Jewish community as a whole watched that movie?
No.
Or they just got upset as soon as they seen from Hebrews
to
to
Negroes.
Negroes, they lost it.
Yes.
I think that, and I think they went out just like some of our people did. They went off of one person's opinion and ran with it without doing the research. They was like, because I seen some of our people who stood with them and was just like, yeah, well, he shouldn't have said that about the Jews. And it was like, he didn't say anything about the Jews. Well, he shouldn't have said that in the documentary. They said this, this, this. And I'm like, I watched it. That was never said. Have you watched it? No. Right. Okay. So you just going off of what you heard. And I think when it comes to that community, a lot of people in that community, I believe that's what happened. They went off of what a reporter or a few reporters said and then just ran with it. And then it just, you had that on top of what happened prior to Kyrie, Kanye, and I believe it just exploded, my opinion. Yes. That's what I think.
And let's be clear here, and let's be grown-ups. No movie or documentary is ever 100% accurate.
Facts.
Whenever we just watch normal movies, there's going to be things that you like and things that you don't like. Exactly. Like he said, he did not make it. It was made by a black man. He's not getting any backlash.
He's making money, though.
It makes, he's making a lot of money.
Yes, he is now, right?
Gotcha.
So it worked in his favor.
Worked in his favor.
So it kind of looks like what Nisha said. It was the Kanye, and then it was the Kyrie. And
they were just waiting for something.
And they're just pick. And I think they're really picking on Kyrie because of his activism work. He did go out there for the Indian tribe, for the water protection and the pipeline. And like I said, he donated a house to George Floyd's family, and I think he did some solar lighting in Pakistan.
Yeah,
he's just an all-around good person that can't be controlled, and they don't like that. They feel once they give you some money, you're going to do what I say. Whenever I say it.
Say what I want you to say.
Forever.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Shaq and Charles Barkley's little fat self?
I think they're cowards. I think they're, and it's not even just them. It's a lot of them, and I'm highly disappointed because they Gen X, and I'm disappointed because instead of backing their brother and standing up for their brother, instead it was about the money. I can't mess up my money, so I'm going to call him an idiot. I'm going to say he should be charged with the highest suspension because prior to Barkley saying that he should have been suspended, nobody was talking about suspension. Even the owner of the Nets said, we will handle this privately. In-house. In-house. And then all of a sudden, it was just like,
fat boy.
All of them started coming for them, and people was purposely asking them to speak on it, so they did. And so here comes this supposed to be 6-day suspension, 6-game, which turned into 8 games suspension, and this list of commands that he must complete to come back. And I it was disappointing because it goes back to what a lot of millennials and some other Gen X say, that a lot of times when it comes to a reason why they don't respect a lot of elders is because you never protect us. You never stand up for what's right. You just want us to pretty much put our head down and yes, boss. Yes, boss. You right, boss. You right. We sick today, boss. We sick today, boss. You do that as opposed to saying, no, actually, that's not correct.
And here's the thing that's kind of hypocritical. You say celebrities don't speak out. Celebrities don't have our back. Celebrities, blah, blah, blah. Soon as they speak out,
you turn
like, oh, that nigga should have kept his mouth shut.
Yep.
Oh, he gonna lose too much money.
Yep.
And here's the thing that we don't be looking at. The system will whip on one man. Mentally, financially, and that's all it takes, because all the rest of them will be whipped too. Just like how they did in slavery. When they put one badass in front, they made sure they had him out there for the rest of the people on the plantation to see.
So you shut up.
To show them, if you think about getting out of line, this is what's going to happen to you. So now they're not physically using that whip.
They're financially
using it.
Yeah.
And everybody else is cowering down. I'm very disappointed about the people that went against Kyrie. Keep your fucking mouth shut if you ain't for him. But I think a lot of black men should gather around this man and protect this man.
We have the power. They have. That's why I was like, when I was talking to some of the men, because, you know, I'm a sports fanatic. And so we was talking about it. And I'm like, you have all this men with power, all these men with the finances that if they wanted to, they could pull away and start their own if they wanted to. But they won't. Instead, they'll just sit there and just take it. Like in addition to that, you had Barkley, you had LeBron you had
too, yeah.
Shaq, you had Jason Williams. You had all these other men initially saying that, and then my Twitter fingers. I love me some Twitter because Twitter, to me, I feel like out of all the social media platforms, will find receipts in less than 24 hours if they have to. And so they was like, hold on, Shaq, ain't this your theater right here? This you right here standing in front of the sign right here that this not you? That's not you? Right. Hold on, Barkley, because didn't you do insert? How many times you been arrested, Barkley? Were you an idiot too? Weren't you like getting in trouble with prostitutes and stuff? So who's the idiot? Because this man ain't never been, he don't have a criminal record. So he the idiot as opposed to you? Right. Shouldn't you have been, you should have lost your career with the choices you made. That's what we doing.
And your anger issues.
Yeah, like that's what we doing, you know? And so I think when people started to come for them, including LeBron, they started to backpedal, especially after the owner of the NBA, the president of the NBA, sat there and said, you know what? I don't think that Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic. I've spoken with him. We've talked about it. I've known him for years. And we discussed it. And I do not feel in my bone, a bone in my body, that he's anti-Semitic. People started backpedaling. Then the manager of the Brooklyn Nets, had to sit down with Kyrie Irving and his family, me and my wife, and I don't feel he's anti-Semitic. I think apology is good enough, you know. He's not, and we talked about it, and, you know, we're going to move forward, you know. And so it was like, now people are like, well, yeah, because when you think about it, it's stupid. Your reaction was a waste of time and a waste of his money. And I solely think that for two things. One, they was pissed off about Kanye and took it out on Kyrie Irving. And then two, they was pissed off because, remember, he also was one of your ones that was like, I'm not getting that vaccine. I'll sit this season out if I have to, but I'm not doing it. And he sat it out until they finally was like, okay, he can come back. He can play. But he meant what he said. And I think that a lot of people were upset about that because it's like, how dare you? How dare you? Yeah, that's too much power for let me stop.
Exactly.
You know, and initially Nike wasn't even on the bandwagon, but they started a petition, and I think they got like over 100,000 people to sign this petition. So they were forcing them, you got to say something. So they took away that, and then LeBron did come back and say that it was excessive. Right. But let me get back to my therapy.
Exactly.
Right. Right. So he was kind of pressured too, you know. Don't be on my side if you're going to be pressured.
Yeah. Stay on your side. Stay on your side. Stay on your square. If that's how you feel, you're going to do that. I know where to place you now. Right. I know what to do going forward. I know it's about your money and nothing else, you know. But don't say you for the people if you're not. Because if you are, and you know that this was absolutely wrong, if you don't want to put yourself in it, because, I mean, there are some of us that don't want to do that, just say no comment.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
No comment.
Exactly.
What you got to say about I got no comment on that. I'm not speaking on that. You want to talk about the game? You want to talk about what I do outside of this? You want to talk about my charity events? What we doing? But Kyrie, I said no comment. That's how I would have moved.
And even before they suspended him, every time after a game, They would interview him. They would jump right back on. And he was like, come on, man.
Yep.
Exactly. I told y'all. Like, you just going to bully me.
Right.
Yep. That is what they're saying. I said what I said.
Yep.
Right.
You can't accept it? What's wrong?
Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I just think we as Black people should be so proud of him for a couple of reasons. Number one is that he has a voice.
Yes.
And he chose to use it.
Yes.
And whether they felt disrespected or whatever, we've been disrespected for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
How many white people put on blackface?
Yeah.
And they haven't been
Jewish people at that.
Thank you. Yeah. And haven't been given a long laundry list of stuff that they have to do to keep their job or their position or whatever. So you're right when you say we should be standing behind him and more men need to come out. And, you know, when you have that kind of money, clearly his thing is he wants to make a point. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about the money. Even with the vaccine and all of that, I'm just really proud of him that he did that. Yeah.
He said anything that you want to keep from a black person, put it in a book. And then he also made another special video real quick for the millennials to tell the millennials it's our time.
Yep.
Stand on your
Time to
square.
stand.
Exactly.
Yep.
Stand on what you believe in.
Exactly.
And we need,
That's it.
And I'm really proud of him because, like I said, I got a son. He's 35. Kyrie's 30 years old, and he's seen all the bullshit. And he's like, "Hey, it's time to let's get it.
Right.
It's time for us." Yeah.
And instead of his fellow players downing him, they should be encouraging him.
Yep.
And they older.
Yeah.
But they're coward.
But Barkley, he already
But that lets you know that we have a lot of black males out here that are very cowardly.
Yeah.
scary.
And
All talk and no action.
Yeah, they just want to disappear.
Yeah.
They just want to try to go through life and hope that
Hold on
nobody
to that
comes
money.
after them.
Hold
and
on to that
and they
money.
can get that money. And
Yes.
see, what we teach our children is that once you get some power, then you get the money, then you should be able to maneuver
Right.
and talk and do the things that you wish to do, like the other ethnic groups get to do.
Right.
And for some strange
Exactly.
reason,
We can't.
We
We
still
don't.
can't.
Yeah.
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 Scared of the backlash.
Did any one of you see the monologue that
Dave Chappelle.
Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle.
Yes. And they said he went on there initially, his monologue that he did
He
to
switched
get on
it
the
up.
show. He switched it up.
Yeah.
And then when he came out there, he did something totally
Yeah.
different.
And so
that's
now
another one.
he's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Now they're going after him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he don't
Yeah.
care because
He don't.
Like he said in the beginning, I just want to, say
Say.
that I am not anti-Semitic
Anti-Semitic.
to all my Jewish people.
Exactly.
And this is how you buy time.
Right.
This is how
And
you
then
buy
right.
time,
he
yes.
said exactly everything that the other people have been saying, but he said it in a way that it was
Different
just
way.
like
Yeah.
And,
And
he
they
want-
still came
and they
for him.
still mad. Like, but no, all he did was spoke truth. And all he did
Exactly.
was spoke truth. That everybody has been saying that. It's not a first time, and it's the truth. It's like, how is it that a certain group is allowed to be over other cultures in their own stuff? For example, like Kanye pointed out, the rap community, or certain things where it's primarily a certain group, but you have someone else telling them what to do. So I get it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was truthful. I thought it was impactful. I thought the documentary was also something interesting too, because it kind of for me kind of made sense on certain things that I've always questioned, as far as how is it that we say people come from Africa, and when you look at Africa, people look like this, but when you look at pictures in the church or you look at certain people, they look the opposite. So I'm confused. I don't, so it's interesting, very interesting. But I'm proud of Kyrie, and I'm glad he's back. I hope he gets traded to a better team. But I'm glad he's back, though.
We should be in an uproar as African American people for the simple fact that we would have to use the white man's system of Ancestry.com to find out our lineage, our heritage, and who we are as a people. We should be outraged about that every day. Something should be done about that. Who's donating hundreds of thousands of $1 million to that cause? For us that don't know who we are, who our culture is, what our culture is, what our language is. What our value system was. Where's the backlash for that? Where's the code for that? See, they stay on code for their what they believe in, and saying like that.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing. Somebody
As
was
you
saying,
should. As you
somebody
should.
saying they don't speak out for us. They shouldn't speak out for us.
No, they're not supposed
them.
to. Correct.
We are the ones that don't stay on code.
Correct.
We are the ones that keep the division going.
Correct.
We are the ones that don't know how to shut our mouth and listen. And damn, if I don't really agree, or I think that, what he said is going to put my life in danger, let me go Google.
Yeah.
Let me see, wait a minute. He's telling the truth or he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
But we get off code. Mm-hmm. They know we're reactionary. And they feed off of that. Let's go back. No, we ain't gonna go back. We ain't even gonna do that. Final thoughts. I was about to get on Kanye, but I'm gonna leave that baby alone. Final
Just
thoughts.
big ups for Kyrie for doing what he did. I think it now I just hope more people will follow suit and have the courage to speak up on stuff that a lot of us have not had the courage to do. You know, we need to stand behind him. Yeah, Kanye has a different angle how he does things, but the way Kyrie did his thing, it was cool. I loved it. And black men, we need you to do this. We need you to step up for us, speak up for us. You know, people didn't even, like you said, didn't even take the time to look at what it was about before they drew conclusions. Like it all stemmed from another thing, and that's why they're here. So, thank you, Kyrie.
I would just say, you know, we need to be more supportive of one another. We need to stop seeing each other as ops, because I feel like within our community, in the black community, we see each other as ops too much. We're too divisive. We got the older generations hating on the younger generations, the younger generations hating on the older generations. We got the men hating the women and the women hating the men. We have all this stuff going on instead of moving as a unit. And when we look at these other cultures, and I hate comparing us to others because we're not them, but the reason why they're kind of doing circles around us right now is because they're on code, and we're not. We're too busy competing amongst one another instead of moving as one and supporting one another and standing with each other. Like if we want to correct somebody, we can, but we can do that behind the scenes. We ain't got to do it publicly. How often do you see them check somebody publicly?
You don't.
Exactly. So it's like we need to change that and start moving as a unit as opposed to as ops amongst one another. Because if we came together as a unit and made things happen, we could shut down a lot of shit. We could bring those resources to communities that we could be building on our own. We could have our own schools. We can have our own businesses. We can provide resources for the women in the community so that we could work for our men instead of other cultures. I would just say that we could be more supportive. It would kind of eliminate the need for people to be robbing and harming from one another too. You know, if they have more opportunities. So I would just say keep that in mind, and don't just go off of something without doing research first. Like just because you hear something doesn't mean it's true. He said this, she said that. How true do you know it is? Did you watch it? Did you read it? Did you see it? You know, do that first before you start spitting out stuff. But that goes with stats. That goes with, you know, sharing a certain meme that's supposed to, you know, describe the whole, you know, gender, you know, black women do this or black men do that or this. And it's like, have you researched that? How true do you know? How do you know that's true? Like, do your research first before you share that kind of info. And that's it for me. That's my final thought.
My final thought is stop being so damn scary. You want us to respect you as the head, as the lead, as the authority figure, as the human being that is the governor of the environment of African American people, then we need you to stop being so goddamn cowardly. When you see a man speak up in a positive way, you supposed to rally behind him. I don't give a damn if you was mad at him yesterday. That's in-house shit. And on outhouse, in the public, in front of these other people, we supposed to have their back. Like we said in another broadcast, right, wrong, or indifferent. Show me an army of one that has defeated an army of hundreds or thousands or millions. And I'll shut my mouth. But see, you can't do it. I love you, Kyrie Irving. Shout out to you. I hope the men rally around you. BGP, like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we out.
Bye.